Okay, so you see me. Oh my goodness. All right. Right. I started by saying that Twitter is the sound for a group of birds. So in its nature, it's collective, it's participatory, and it's social. So what I want to talk about is deepening participation through Twitter. Next slide, please. Okay. Quickly, the idea of participation, especially with Twitter, is the power of one multiplied by all. In otherwise, it could be government to government, government to citizens, but now we're looking at three parts because government to government, most of you already know that's what you practice as diplomats. The first is government to citizens. In this case, there is a government Twitter account or there is a government hashtag that is linked to an event, that is linked to a thematic, that is linked to one problem, that is linked to an issue, and the government expects citizens to come back in, tweeting on that. There is the other one, citizens to government, in which citizens, this is what we most often see, begin a hashtag to send a message to the government. Now, depending on how the government receives that. So there is citizen to citizen, and there is government to citizens, and citizens to government. Yes. But I'm going to come back and give you a few examples, which I feel that is actually where the issue is. Next slide, please. Okay, so why Twitter? Like I said, the Twitter is the collective chirping, the collective talk of birds among themselves. The first reason why Twitter is very important for deepening conversations, for deepening participation, and this is what I want you to take along with you. It's open, it's light, and it's got multiple applications. APIs are very frequent in Twitter. The thing about Twitter that it makes it different from, for instance, another social media that we all know, Facebook, is that you need to be, in Facebook you have friends, and it is very easy for people to see things among their friends and with themselves. But in Twitter, anyone can click on your name and read on everything that you've posted on your timeline. The first other thing is so it's open in nature. Now you have the very light part of it. You can do, some of you know, you can tweet with SMS alone. You can actually send an SMS to a Twitter account. It will appear on your Twitter line. That's how light Twitter is. It does not need a lot of bandwidth. And the other thing about Twitter is the multiple applications. There's a photo application, there is a collection application, there is a hashtag integration application, there is even the chat application in Twitter. There is a lot. I use TweetDeck. Can I see the hands of people who use TweetDeck? Have you ever used TweetDeck? Nobody. Okay, I see one or two people who use TweetDeck there. Are there other people in the room who do not just use Twitter, but who use Twitter applications, other third-party applications of Twitter? Anybody using anything else? Like Uber or anything? Uber Social? So there are quite a number of Twitter applications that you can use. And this makes it appealing to young people, to old people, to media, to everyone, and across societal strata. Now, the most important thing about Twitter may be the second point, which is searchability. Searchability means if myself I want to search Twitter, my tweets, I can search within Twitter itself. But another person can search for my tweet away from which means that Twitter is referenced by Google. All Twitter content referenced by Google, and you can search for it on Google and find it. That is an added especially when you want people to participate. So even if something has happened 2 years ago, it is possible to search for it on Twitter, or search for it on Google, or search for it on Bing, on Yahoo, on any other search machine, because content on Twitter is searchable. Now, the hashtag, like we all know, is the mini aggregator for all content on Twitter. I think apart from the word search or share in social circles, apart from that function share, the most other important function we've seen today is the hashtag. Once you put that hashtag, it turns the word after it into a keyword. It turns it into a topic. It turns it into a book. You can easily just pull that and publish. So that searchability that is enabled by the hashtag is key in letting people get engaged. So sometimes what I normally do is whenever I log on to Twitter, I look at the trending, what's happening, what's new, and it could come from anywhere. The last part, number 3, is virality. Now, I don't know if that word exists in English. In English, we say ability to go viral. In French, viralité is not the same as going viral, okay? So please don't quote me on this. But the idea is that once it's out there, you can actually ask help for other governments, from other people, from colleagues. Please help me to retweet this. Please share it. And now you've seen that virality can actually stretch across networks. Once something starts trending on Twitter, Facebook users are interested in it. Google Plus is interested in it. Of course, all the photos about it is going to show up on it. Hashtag helps go viral. Quick story about myself. Last November, the Prime Minister of India was asking my daughter. It was an issue people and question and we had no time. So picture of mama photo, and I said, I love this initiative, it's great. And viral in India, and people were like, yeah, this African beautiful faces. So the possibility of taking an idea and running with it, it's most seen in the Twitter environment. So if we want to engage people, if we want people to participate, if we want them to love this, I think Twitter is the place that anything can go viral if you put your mind to it. Now on virality, if a government or if a representation is doing something, I don't know who here is from the Netherlands. Shout out to the Netherlands ambassador in Sudan, who said, if we get X number of people to like our page on Facebook, I am going to swim across the Nile. And girl, did she do it? She did. And it went viral. So once you have an idea that has gone viral, it is very easy to engage people in the issues. And she was doing this not just for her organization, she was doing this to call attention to the gender issues in Sudan. So variability is something that Twitter can help you do if you just don't want to engage the people you represent, but also want to engage the whole world. I do know, I'm cognizant of the fact that so many representations in Geneva may have issues they want the world to care about, they want the world to know about. I think that Twitter is the place for you to engage the whole world on a particular issue. Or next, that's the last but one slide. Next slide, please. My next slide is actually on how. Yeah. So how in Twitter. When we were fighting Ebola in West Africa, and by the way, I'm in West Africa, in Abidjan. It started in Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea. And for once, I actually did write something that I submitted to government, said, democracy empowered by Ebola. I was in Nigeria when the case broke out in Nigeria. For once in my lifetime, I saw the Nigerian government going all out on all media, trying to tell Nigerians what to do about Ebola. Every government was giving news. Everybody needed to get engaged. All citizens needed to be on board. And I could tell you that we are, if not for the engagement on all media platforms by government, the news on Ebola would have been worse than what we had today. So this has been it has proved efficient, at least in West Africa. Even today, the government still tweets in the country I live in about Ebola, what to do, what not to do. And I think that was very instrumental. Elections in Nigeria and Burkina Faso that just happened recently, all of them in the last year. What we've seen is that the National Electoral Commission did a social compact, a social partnership with citizens. Guys, we want you to help us. Tweet all the information you can. Do this, do that. And in Nigeria, INEC Nigeria, their hashtag is at INEC Nigeria, was using Twitter to give results. In Burkina Faso, it was the same. And people were tweeting back. So the first case is the case of government to citizens. That is the case of Ebola in West Africa. So governments were tweeting to citizens. But in the second case, citizens were tweeting with governments, giving back information, showing what has happened in the place that X, Y, Z place that have voted, saying what is good, saying what is bad, giving all kinds of information, asking questions, and sharing photos on Twitter. And that was helpful, especially for the case of Nigeria and Burkina Faso. Because by the end of the last day in Nigeria, the outgoing president, the incumbent president, s'il vous plaît, because in Africa, incumbents hardly step out because they always sure they will win. But because of the social engagement, because of the participation, it was practically impossible for Mr. Goodluck Jonathan to challenge the results, because he knew that almost every Nigerian was calculating. Almost every Nigerian was on Twitter. Almost every Nigerian that was online